All right, let's do our overnight report. I mean, we kind of did it a little bit with the trade recap, but we kind of go through like some 4 hour kind of activity. This current candle is really, really interesting. We still have an hour left on it. I think there's some sort of SEC thing going on that kind of has catalyzed the big dump and then, buyback. But um, because this is just so strong and so nasty. Like at exactly 11 a.m., we dumped all the way down here, and for the last 50 minutes, we've just been pumping, pumping, pumping. Very reminiscent of what we saw last week with this spike. So weird. But nevertheless, all we can do is look at our charts and see what we can ascertain. So that rounded bottom that we've been talking about, hoping that it forms, possibly could be forming, but after kind of this, I wasn't so eager anymore. I was kind of waiting for this sort of one, two legs down, and then kind of like that. Certainly was not expecting like this. So I'm going to have to take a little bit of time to evaluate this. Not in any trades right now, and I'm not eager necessarily to get into anything just yet, simply because this is a really strong candle, but I'm just not so sure. Like, this is clearly one leg kind of down, sideways consolidation. We get the second leg down, kind of upwards consolidation, looking like possibly we want to be done with the down move. And then last second, another down move, a third push down, and a strong buyback. So I guess technically, like, bears should be very, very worried right now, right? Um, any bear that has shorted in this region is maybe starting to feel a little bit of nervousness, but certainly everybody that is shorted below this level and everybody that's shorted down here is panicked, completely panicked, or otherwise already liquidated. It's possible they've already closed their position out. Um, Looking at this chart structure, I mean, there's just not much to say right now. Like we have to wait and keep evaluating and see what happens. Obviously, everybody down here has been trapped. Um, Coming back up into this region, all of these people are trapped. All of these shorters are trapped. So just everybody that is underneath this previous support um, have been trapped, and now we're looking like we're attempting to flip this support, flip this again into support from resistance. So we'll have to wait and see what type of what we get here. I mean, technically here we had a, if we just look at this straight from, if this is our move up and we're looking for a pullback, right, to buy. Um, and by the way, all of this still housed, right? This is still a higher low compared to this. So even though it's a lower low compared to wherever this was, still technically a higher low. I kind of feel like the structure is broken as far as being like a bullish structure, because we're right back into this range that we were kind of in for such a long time and respecting for such a long time. Kind of why I'm not super bullish, just because, yeah, I guess we reversed all of this, but this is all just, from this trading range, from this prior trading range. Um, we technically have the one push down. Um, let me just do it like this. We have one two-legged push down, then we have one two-legged push up, and then now we get this next push down, right? So this is technically your buy signal. I mean, here was your high one, right? This is your high one buy signal. Fails. We put in the second low. This is your high two buy signal. And usually with something like this following such strong dump like this, we're probably not going to enter just on this high two. We're going to look for a retest of this low, and then kind of hoping for something like this, we end up breaking down even lower. This is now our high three. You know, I don't like high threes. Technically, if you want to say that this is the high two because we didn't really get a good trend line break here, this is the break of the trend line. We're usually waiting for a break of the trend line and then a test of the low, and then we're going to call that the high two. So this is kind of like your high two. Of course, on a higher time frame, it just kind of looks like we've re-entered the trading range, you know? So I think we have to wait. I think we have to be a little patient and kind of see what develops here. If you miss the trade in here, if you miss this move, then you miss this move. I'm not super hype and eager necessarily to just jump into a trade, even though this bar is higher than this bar. So if we were still in that zone of buy above any bar, we should be buying above this bar now when it closes in 3 minutes. This hourly bar when it closes in 3 minutes. But then again, you know, we would have bought all these as well. But on the 4 hour, yeah, if we're on the 4 hour looking to buy above any bar, then we wait until 1 hour and 3 minutes expire, and then we buy above this. I guess, I suppose, and maybe we get kind of like a just straight pump, but I'm not so sure of it because we have re-entered this trading range. We do seem to be rejecting this trading range, so if we can come out on top of the trading range and kind of have some sort of market acceptance above this trading range, maybe then we have another shot to push up, but I'm just not so eager yet, although I am for sure leaning bullish, but just ever so slightly. On the daily time frame, this is exactly what we were talking about the other day, right? That we had this kind of chop chop, almost barbed wire situation. So even though we have the breakout, it's pretty reasonable that we might try and retest this region. I don't know if we were expecting it to come all the way back down here. But yeah, 5 hours remaining. It would be really interesting if we turned this into an outside up bar. That would be something nuts, and just send this straight to like 65 keks. That would be quite interesting. Not certain that that's what's going to happen. Not super confident in that being the play. We have 5 hours, of course, to find out. So this is our noon o'clock recap, and now we kind of get to see what's going to happen next. I think it's probably a little bit easier to evaluate on lower time frames, but maybe not. This is just really strong spike up, followed by another really strong spike up. Minor consolidation. I wouldn't say that this is the consolidation that makes it so that we have to be done here. You know, I think there's still potentially on these low time frames in particular more pump that, you know, we have left to do, and maybe it's like something like this and then kind of re-enter this range. But I do think that we should probably have some sort of test of like, maybe we don't have to get all the way back down here, right? But maybe you have like a test of this kind of area, just because we kind of found some sort of buying support here, retested it, clearly had some more buying support here. So maybe we kind of have some sort of retest of this area, maybe like the high of the area, like we do kind of like this, and we just barely dip into it and then continue upward. I definitely am not just expecting straight, I definitely am not necessarily expecting just straight upward pumping, just continually pumping upward. I'm not really sure what this SEC news was, though. I mean, maybe there was something in the SEC news that was just like clear, like you just have to buy everything. I think Homeboy Ultra is saying you just have to buy exit USD and just get into Bitcoin or enter all markets or something like that. He said, I'm not quite sure what's going on, so we'll see.